Welcome back, everyone. It's been quite a week for our deep dive, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've got a pretty interesting mix going on.
We've been looking into AI, how it's growing, its impact, and then there's the extreme weather. Those wildfires in California were just intense.
Absolutely. And we even dipped our toes into space exploration with that SpaceInfo community.
Yeah.
Over 150,000 members.
Yeah, that's wild. Okay, so our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to connect the dots between these seemingly separate topics.
See what they have in common, what we can learn.
Exactly. So one of the articles you shared talked about this AI explosion, especially in China. Great Wall Motor, for example. They're putting AI right into their cars.
Right. And in telecom, you've got companies using AI models like DeepSeek, really shaking things up.
Now, what is DeepSeek exactly, for those of us who aren't, tech wizards?
Well, it's an open source AI model, so it's accessible to a lot more developers and businesses than some of the pricier options out there.
Okay, so cheaper and powerful, what's the catch? There's always a catch, right?
Well, one thing to think about is security. When something is more open, there's always a potential for, you know, misuse or vulnerabilities.
Makes sense. But on the flip side, that wider access could also lead to some incredible innovation. We'll have to see how it all plays out.
Definitely. And it's not just DeepSeek. AI stocks are through the roof right now. Investors are clearly betting big on the future of AI. I mean, you've got OpenAI's Operator. This AI can actually control a web browser.
I read about that. Not just browsing the web, it can actually do things like book a flight or schedule an appointment. Is that right?
Exactly. It has the potential to completely change how we work and interact online. It's like having a personal assistant who lives in your computer.
Okay, let's shift gears for a moment. Let's talk about those California wildfires, Pacific Palisades, Altadena, devastating. And even astronaut Don Pettit took a picture from space. You could see the smoke from the International Space Station.
Yeah. It's a stark reminder of just how powerful and how dangerous these extreme weather events are becoming. And La Nina is definitely playing a role.
Right, La Nina, what exactly does it do again? It makes things drier in the south.
Yeah, drier in the south, wetter in the north. And those dry conditions, well, they make wildfires much more likely.
And it's not just the dryness, right? There's something about the wind patterns, too.
Right. La Nina messes with the jet stream, so you get these unusual wind patterns, and that can make the fire spread even faster and further. It's like uh, a recipe for disaster.
Wow. Okay, so we've got AI booming and we've got these intense weather events. But here's the thing. One of the articles actually suggested that AI could help us predict severe weather better.
Yeah. Think about hurricanes, tornadoes. Those are notoriously hard to predict.
Right, because there's so many factors involved, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But AI can crunch enormous amounts of data. Maybe it could be the key to unlocking more accurate forecasts.
That would be incredible. More accurate predictions could give people more time to prepare, maybe even save lives.
Exactly. And it's not just weather. AI is transforming healthcare, finance, you name it. I read that the European Space Agency is even looking into how to use AI for space exploration.
Wow. Okay, and speaking of space, there's that SpaceInfo community we talked about. What do you think is driving all this interest in space? Why are people so fascinated?
Well, space exploration is capturing the imagination of a whole new generation. It's not just for scientists and governments anymore.
I mean, who hasn't looked up at the stars and wondered what's out there? It's in our nature to explore.
Right. And SpaceInfo provides this platform for learning about anything and everything related to space, from astronomy to space tech. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, so here's something that really made me think. One of the sources said that AI models themselves are becoming kind of common. They said the real value is actually in the data.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The data is what makes the AI work, right? It's like having a fancy oven. It doesn't matter how fancy it is if you don't have good ingredients.
So what kind of data do you think will be most valuable, moving forward? What data will help us solve the big problems like climate change or help us understand the universe better?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, for weather prediction, we'll need data on everything. Ocean currents, soil moisture, you name it. And for space exploration, well, that's a whole other universe of data.
It's almost like we need to become experts in data, not just AI.
In a way, yes. Data is the fuel that powers the AI engine.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. AI, extreme weather, the data that connects them. But before we move on, I have to ask, what about the risks of AI? I mean, it's a powerful tool. Is there a chance it could be misused?
That's a great question, and it's one we definitely need to address. We'll dive into those potential risks and challenges when we come back.
Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about the risks of AI, remember?
Yeah, that's right. Misuse. I mean, it's a powerful tool, right? What should we be worried about?
Well, one big concern is bias. AI systems, they learn from data. And if that data is biased, the AI will be biased too.
So, like, if you're using AI for hiring, for example, it could actually perpetuate existing discrimination.
Exactly. And it's not just hiring. Think about loan applications, even criminal justice. If the data is flawed, the AI will be flawed.
Yeah, that's a scary thought. And then what about jobs? I mean, a lot of people are worried that AI will take over their jobs.
It's a valid concern. As AI gets better at doing things that humans currently do, there will definitely be some disruption in the job market.
So, what can we do about that?
Well, for one, we need to think about retraining people, helping them acquire new skills that will be in demand in an AI-driven world. And education is key. We need to make sure everyone has access to the knowledge and tools they need to thrive in this new landscape.
Okay, so bias, jobs, those are some serious concerns. But what about the really big picture stuff? I mean, what happens when AI gets even smarter than us?
That's where things get really interesting and maybe a little bit unsettling. We're talking about the potential for artificial general intelligence, AI that can think for itself, learn on its own, even surpass human intelligence.
Okay, now we're getting into sci-fi territory. Are you talking about robots taking over the world?
Well, not necessarily, but we do need to think about the implications of creating machines that are potentially smarter than their creators.
I mean, who would be responsible if an AI made a mistake, a big mistake?
Exactly. It's a huge ethical question. And honestly, we don't have all the answers yet.
So these are questions we need to start thinking about now, before it's too late.
Absolutely. We need to ensure that AI is developed ethically, that it aligns with human values.
So how do we do that? What can we do as individuals?
Well, the first step is awareness. Educating ourselves about AI, how it works, its limitations. The more we understand, the better equipped we'll be to advocate for responsible AI development.
Right, knowledge is power.
Exactly. And we can support organizations that are working on ethical AI, groups that are pushing for transparency and accountability.
So it sounds like there's a whole movement around ethical AI.
There is. And we need more people to join it. We need to make sure that AI is used for good, not for harm.
Earlier, we talked about the importance of data in AI. What are some of the challenges when it comes to gathering and using data effectively?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is data quality. I mean, you can have mountains of data, but if it's full of errors or inconsistencies, it's useless.
Garbage in, garbage out, right?
Exactly. And then there's the issue of data privacy. We need to make sure that people's personal information is protected, that data is being used ethically.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about social responsibility.
Right. And then there's the issue of access. Not everyone has equal access to data, which can create a digital divide. We need to make sure that the benefits of AI are shared equitably.
Okay, so as we move forward with AI, what are some key principles that we should keep in mind?
Well, I think the most important principle is human well-being. AI should be used to enhance our lives, not to diminish them. It should be a tool that helps us solve problems, not create new ones.
So we need to make sure it aligns with our values.
Exactly. And we need transparency. We need to understand how these systems work, how decisions are being made.
And collaboration. We need experts from all different fields working together: computer science, ethics, social sciences.
Absolutely. It's a complex issue, and there's no easy solution. But if we work together, we can harness the power of AI for good.
So for our listeners who are just starting to explore this whole world of AI, what's the takeaway message?
AI is no longer just a futuristic concept. It's here, it's real, and it's already changing our world.
And it's going to have an even bigger impact in the years to come.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to be informed, to be engaged, to ask questions. We all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI.
It's not something that's just happening to us. We can actually shape it.
Precisely. We have the power to choose how we use this technology. Let's choose wisely.
Okay, shifting gears a bit, you also mentioned how AI is being used in the space industry. Can you talk about that a little more?
Sure. I mean, AI is being used for all sorts of things in space exploration, controlling satellites, analyzing astronomical data, even assisting with planetary missions.
It's almost like AI is helping us unlock the secrets of the universe.
In a way, it is. For example, AI algorithms can process vast amounts of data from telescopes. That helps astronomers make new discoveries about distant stars and galaxies.
That's incredible. And what about like planetary exploration? How is AI being used there?
Well, one of the most exciting applications is in the development of autonomous rovers and spacecraft. Robots that can explore other planets without direct human control.
It's like something out of a science fiction movie. AI-powered robots exploring Mars.
It really is. And AI is also being used to analyze the data collected by these missions, to learn about the geology of other planets, their atmospheres, even the potential for life.
So AI is not just helping us explore the universe, it's helping us understand it better.
Exactly. It's a very exciting time to be involved in space exploration. AI is playing a huge role in that.
Okay, let's bring it back down to Earth for a moment. One of the sources we read really emphasized the importance of data in AI. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Sure. I mean, AI models are trained on data. The more data you have and the better the quality of that data, the better the AI will perform.
So it's not just about having a lot of data, it's about having the right kind of data.
Right. And that can be a challenge. Ensuring data diversity is really important. You want data that represents the real world, in all its complexity.
And we talked about data privacy earlier. That's a big concern too. We need to make sure data is being used ethically and responsibly.
Absolutely. And then there's the issue of data access. Not everyone has equal access to data, which can create a digital divide.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about social and economic equity.
Right. We need to make sure that the benefits of AI are shared by everyone, not just a select few. It's about creating a future where AI empowers everyone.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, AI is a powerful tool. It has the potential to change our world in amazing ways, but it also comes with risks.
We need to be aware of those risks, right? And make sure AI is used responsibly.
Exactly. We need to think about the ethical implications, and we need to be proactive in shaping the future of AI.
It's not something that's just happening to us. We can actually be a part of it.
That's right. We can all play a role in ensuring that AI is used for good.
So keep learning, keep asking questions, and stay engaged.
The future is what we make it.
Now let's shift gears and take some questions from our listeners. What do you say?
Sounds good to me.
All right, we're back and ready for some listener questions. It's been a wild ride so far, AI, extreme weather, space.
Yeah, lots to unpack.
Let's see what our deep divers are curious about. Okay, first question comes from Sarah in Seattle. She asks, with all this talk about AI and weather forecasting, how long until we actually have AI telling us when the next big storm is coming?
That's a good question. I mean, AI is already being used to improve weather forecasts, right? Analyzing all that radar and satellite data.
Right, but Sarah's asking specifically about severe weather, right? Like hurricanes, tornadoes.
Yeah, those are tough. I mean, weather systems are incredibly complex, right? So many variables. It's even hard for our best computers to model it all accurately.
It's kind of like trying to predict where a leaf will land when it falls from a tree, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you need mountains of data to train the AI, Historical data, real-time data, the more the better.
So quality ain't need quantity, right?
Exactly. But even with all that, researchers are making progress. New AI algorithms are being developed all the time.
So it's not a matter of if, but when.
Right. And those better predictions could really make a difference, give people more time to prepare, maybe even save lives.
That's the goal, right? Okay, next question is from Mark in Miami. He says, I'm fascinated by all this AI stuff, but I don't know anything about computer science. Is there any way for someone like me to get involved?
Absolutely, Mark. You don't need to be a coding whiz to dive into the world of AI.
So where would you suggest he start?
Well, there are tons of online resources, free courses, workshops. You can learn the basics of AI, even some programming if you're interested.
So it's like learning a new language, right? You don't need to be a scholar to start speaking.
Exactly. And then there's the whole ethical side of AI. Lots to explore there, too.
So many different paths you can take, depending on what interests you.
Right. And don't forget networking. Go to conferences, meet people online, find your tribe.
Find your AI tribe. Love it. Okay, last question comes from Maria in Mexico City. She says, I'm really worried about AI being misused. What can we do to make sure it's used for good?
That's a really important question, Maria. And it's one that everyone should be thinking about. Like any powerful technology, it can be used for good or bad.
So what can we do? Are we just at the mercy of this technology?
Not at all. We need to be proactive. We need clear guidelines, regulations. Think of it like setting speed limits, to keep everyone safe.
Makes sense. What else?
Education. The more people understand about AI, how it works, the better. And we need to promote ethical AI development. Transparency, accountability.
So knowledge and action, right?
Exactly. And collaboration. Bringing together experts from different fields to address these challenges. It's a big job. but we can do it.
So we all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI.
Absolutely. We need to be mindful, we need to be informed, and we need to be engaged.
Well said. That about wraps up our deep dive for today.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground.
From AI to extreme weather to space exploration. And those listener questions were fantastic. Always love hearing from our deep divers.
Me too. It's great to see so much curiosity out there.
So as always, folks, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those questions coming.
And remember, the future is what we make it, so let's make it a good one.
That's right. Stay curious, everyone.